Welcome to They Call This a Movie, testing the strength of friendships one terrible movie at a time. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and other podcast services by searching They Call This a Movie. We are part of the Main Damie Network. To find more from us, check out the website of themaindamie.com or on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at The Main Damie. We're also now a proud member of Geek Vibes Nation, and you can find them at gvnation.com. Welcome back to They Call This a Movie. This is Anthony Del Vecchio, and with me, as always, is Dan Aquino and Mark Myers. Say hello, gentlemen.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year to you too, Mark, and Happy New Year to you, Dan. We're coming to you the last week of 2021, and as we've been doing in the past, we're not talking about a movie this week. We're going to kind of look back on our 2021 as a podcast, and then talk about some of our favorite moments, shout out our guests, see, kind of take a look at where we started and how we ending this year, and also looking ahead to next year. So I don't really even know how to start this. I guess we could talk about, guys, we made it another pandemic-filled year. Yeah. I don't believe we missed a single week, and I think we could pat ourselves on the back for that. So congrats, guys. I know attendance was pretty high this year. I know Dan is almost at. Are you almost at 3 years without missing an episode?
I think 2.
2?
Yeah, I think 2. I don't know if I could say 3 for sure, but definitely 2.
I know the last episode you missed was Thunderstruck, because you have a habit of missing our basketball episodes.
Right. So, I swear that's not on purpose.
Are you the Cal Ripken of this podcast? Is what we're saying
right now? Yes.
Yeah.
Do we have to drape the number of episodes on the website?
There should be a picture of me on the Main Damie Twitter or something. Me just like waving to a non-existent crowd and confetti falling down on me.
We should, if you are going to miss any episodes, just have you record like 2 minutes,
right?
And just put it in the episode and be the same as leaving in the 7th inning.
Yeah, no, I call in. I'll call in and give you like, oh, I hated this movie, and then that's it.
Yeah. So Dan, your last episode that you missed was Thunderstruck, March 21st, 2019.
Okay.
So if you make it to March 21st, 2021, it would be 3 years. But spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, we both know that that's not going to happen.
Yeah, unfortunately.
We can still do the Cal Ripken thing if you want.
Yeah, we could have the episode you missed, the week when you come back, we'll have a little ceremony for you.
Yeah, we can,
I appreciate that.
We can have him record something, Ant, and then just put it in the episode and be like, hey, you didn't miss.
I'll do that. Yeah, whatever you want to do.
We'll just like have him, maybe we'll just like have him just record like some reactions. Yeah. And then I'll just pepper it in. I'll pepper it into the episode and no one will ever know.
Do we want to do that now? just like holy shit. Oh my god, just like such generic stuff like, oh yeah, there's Dan, got him.
I want to die.
Like, can we unpack that for just a little bit?
Yeah.
Sure, Dan.
Yeah, this is a great idea. I fully, I'll sign on to it.
Yeah,
I give you full-fledged usage of my character.
If we ever do live reads of ads, we have to do the one thing I saw on another podcast I listened to, where if normally they do the 2 hosts go back and forth, and when the one host isn't there, the other one is just like, quiet, I'm trying to read an ad. Throughout the entire read.
We could do the Fallout Boy attempt, so where we just take all of your audio from the past 163 episodes and just pull. Seamless, huh?
My God. You're fired. And with good cause. If you pulled that off, you'd be my hero. That
sounds like so much work.
Yeah, it's a mountain of work.
Audio.
I can't imagine anyone doing that.
The audio quality just jumping up and down the whole time.
Yeah, if you did that, I would hold you to such a high standard going forward. Like, what do you mean? You went through like 200 episodes and pulled my audio. You can't do this one thing for me now?
Oh man, I'll pay someone to edit that episode.
That'd be hilarious. Yeah, that would be my new favorite episode, and I wouldn't be there for it.
Yeah, so we started the year with RoboCop, and then our last movie of the year was Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure.
Same movie.
Yeah,
Not
we
no degradation. No.
yeah
No,
we
about the
start
same level of movie.
yeah we started with a treat and we ended with a trick, basically.
Yeah. I'm glad that you allowed me to do RoboCop because obviously that is a pretty much world renowned good movie. You could argue bits and pieces of it, but it's generally well known as a good movie. That's not really our shtick here, but I think we needed a little bit of a palate cleanser after what we had gone through the year before.
Yeah,
Start off on the right foot. I think we had a lot of ups and downs in terms of movies that we watched, but it was a good thing to start off.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. We had a great year. We had some guests on. We were always looking to do guests. I think we had one episode in 2020 where we had Jen and Tom on for Sonic the Hedgehog. We definitely want to do more of that this year, and we did that. So happy about that. We're probably hoping to get some more. Maybe some returning guests this year. Maybe some brand new guests. Yeah, Mark.
Spoiler alert: Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is coming out. So maybe
Great.
Maybe we can keep Jen hostage again and make her watch that movie and record a podcast on it.
I've already prepared her for it.
I feel like one kidnapping is, mistakes happen, and then second, it's becoming you're a serial kidnapper, and it's probably not something we want to be part of.
Yeah,
and that's a gateway to other crimes.
Yeah,
yeah,
So,
like loitering.
Yeah,
right, jaywalking,
tax evasion.
Which one of us is going to do the tax? It's going to be me, but just like by accident. I forgot to file something. Because I'm too dumb to like try to pull it off on a large scale.
Yeah.
So it would just be me. But yeah,
taxes theft, bro. Taxes theft.
Did you see? This has nothing to do with movies at all, but apparently, like the IRS sent out a tweet or something on Instagram saying like, make sure to file for your illegal activities that you did or like stolen goods. Someone's gonna fall for that, that.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I have to file for all these Louis Vuitton bags I stole. I gotta claim them.
But anybody listening, if you have an OnlyFans account or a Twitch channel that you make money off of, you have to file that.
It's true. Yeah, a lot of people get in trouble for not doing that.
Yep.
So
Uncle Sam takes a big bite out of your ass if you don't put some money aside.
Yeah. The good news is, I think if you have to make a certain amount to actually pay anything,
right,
on it.
There's a certain amount.
Yeah. So
that's our good deed for the day. That's our PSA
to the Game Vault pod. We let Tom handle that.
Yeah, it matters who owns that.
He's the adult.
Who owns it, yeah. But yeah, so one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about, actually, I wanted to start with shouting out everybody that we had on as guests. We started off the year, second episode, we had Tia from Geek Vibes Nation, as well as, what's it, Coffee Talk with Tia?
Coffee break, I think.
Coffee break. You say it every week, and I must just tune it out.
But there's also Tea Time with Tia. I think
Tea
Coffee
Time with
Break
Tia
is with Brittany and Tia, and Tea Time is just with Tia.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you, Tia, if you're listening. I'm sure you are. Thank you for coming on with for Wonder Woman 84. Maybe we'll have you on again this year if you want to suggest a movie. By all means. And then we had who was our next one?
It was Jess Sager.
I believe it was Jess Sager. She joined us for Jumper for some reason, unfortunately.
That was the only time I could corral her, I think.
She pulled the short straw that week, and we watched Jumper. Then we had Tom joined us for Mortal Kombat. So thanks, Tom. I know you're listening. Cool World, we had Steve from Hop Nation USA and Halloween is Forever. Thank you, Steve, for hanging out with us and talking about Cool World. It's always good talking to people about horny cartoons. We got Pete from Binge Media that came on, talked with us about Double Down, which was a lot of fun. I still feel bad though, because he was originally going to come on for our Love Guru episode, and then he had to bail out at the last second. But he watched Glove Guru without getting to talk about it. So
yeah, that's the feel bad part, because apparently we awakened something by showing them Neil Breen.
Yes, we opened the door for them.
FYI, that might have been my favorite episode of the year. because the Neil Breen experience is already funny and there's a lot to pick apart there. But having Pete on, it gave us that extra layer.
Yeah.
And I haven't laughed that hard in a long time.
Yep. I think that might be my favorite episode of the year too. But spoiler alert. And then we had Steve back on for Basket Case, which was a lot of fun. It was the first time he had ever seen it. And then Jen joined us for The Evil Dead because we saw that with her in New York, which was another great episode. A lot of fun. Probably our second best movie we watched this year, besides Robocop. And I think we had Alex from Binge Media came on talk Kirk Cameron Saving Christmas with us, which might have been the worst movie we watched this year.
I mean,
the one last week was pretty close.
Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure. So Kirk Cameron Saving Christmas is, it's not so much a movie as it is just a propaganda. But Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure is a true movie, and it's just bad.
Yeah.
So thank you to everybody that came out this year to help us with this show, and we're hoping to have more people on, have the same people on again. Yeah, a good time.
Yeah, it's fun.
So now that we were talking about it, we want to talk about what our favorite episodes or So there's two things: favorite episode and favorite movie we watched that you hadn't seen before.
Yeah,
that's what we want to talk about. So, Mark, why don't you start it off?
Yeah, so since I was the only one that didn't mention it, I think we all have the same favorite episode. The Neil Breen episode with Pete was probably the most fun I had doing this podcast, because that movie is ridiculous. He was great, and it was just a good bonding experience going through that movie. My runners up to that are any movie where we come in knowing Dan is like white hot about how terrible the movie is. Those are my runners up, and those are multiple throughout the year, so we can't narrow it down. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. The movie itself was a fun time, and then just I think that might have been the first experience with someone that we didn't have like that close of a relationship with any one of us.
Sure.
On there, so having a new energy and things and having it fit in so well with what we do made it great, and probably, I don't know about you, but it gave me a lot of confidence, going forward for when we do get people on the show, that we are doing something that's actually entertaining to not just ourselves.
Sure, definitely. And what's your favorite movie that we watched that you hadn't seen before?
Yeah, so it was the movie, I'm trying to see if it was before or after. It's the movie right around that. Samurai Cop was my ridiculous favorite movie that I hadn't seen before or hadn't even really heard about.
That was back to back, Double Down, followed by Samurai Cop.
Yeah. I think the favorite overall movie, but I had semi heard about just because it was very famous. In my office, it was Iron Eagle, but I wanted to go with a movie that I had no clue about before going into it, and that I ended up really enjoying. It was, between this and Miami Connection, but Samurai Cop was just too ridiculous, and a fun watch for me.
Okay. Dan, what about you?
Yeah, so I'm, along with Mark, I had a lot of fun with Double Down. Such a ridiculous movie. I had some fun with Kirk Cameron Saves Christmas as well. That was Alex from Binge Media. Those guys, a lot of fun, know their stuff, very funny people. I would definitely hope we could have them back on in 2022. One of my favorite moments of the podcast was Cliffhanger, when we reviewed Cliffhanger. And there's the opening scene where Sylvester Stallone's character goes out and tries to get Michael Rooker's girlfriend, I think, right? And so if you've seen Cliffhanger, it does not go well. It goes sideways. And Michael Rooker's girlfriend plummets to her death. And we joked about the helicopter ride back where it's Michael Rooker, Sylvester Stallone, and the female lead. And it's just like, what would you talk about, right? This guy's girlfriend just fell hundreds and hundreds of feet to her death. Like, oh, well, this is awkward. Sorry, I don't know what to say. I apologize for that. Get him next time, I guess. That was a lot of fun. I had never seen like Maniac Cop, Miami Connection. One of the worst movies that I think I saw was a recommendation from Tom, our very good friend Tom. Nothing But Trouble. Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Awful movie.
Yeah.
Awful. Tom's dangerously close to not being allowed to recommend movies ever again, because
Right.
he recommended Christmas Vacation 2 and Nothing But Trouble. So not great.
He's on thin ice.
Yes, strike two, my friend, strike two. I think Jumper holds a special place in my heart too. Having Jess Sager on, growing up with her, and just seeing the comedian that she's become, just a lot of fun. I'm very proud of her, and I'm very happy that she time to hang out with us and make Jumper a tolerable movie, because that movie was so goddamn boring.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she added a lot of life to it. We're very lucky, Anthony, you've already said, and I just want to echo, we're very lucky with the guests that we've had on. It was such a fun, outside of what the world's become in 2021, just such a fun 2021 in terms of our podcast. And it's cool to see how we've taken those incremental steps to growing. It really makes you think what's coming up in 2022,
Sure. Yeah. I think all my favorite episodes are wind up being ones that we had guests on. Cool World was a fun episode when we had Steve on. Basket Case as well. He was on that as well. It was fun talking to Jen about The Evil Dead. I think part of that was just the experience of seeing that in theaters.
Yeah.
Tom with Mortal Kombat was a good time. Yeah, I think there's just an extra energy that comes with having guests on, and that's kind of why we wanted to start bringing guests on, and kind of looking ahead, wanting to bring more on. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think it's tough because there's a lot of movies this year that I had already seen, and of the ones that I hadn't seen, most of them are trash. But I'm just looking at it. Cruel Jaws was a fun one. Terrible movie, but a lot of fun. I don't know if that's my favorite though. It's like I've seen like Cool World. I wouldn't even put that in my favorites. It might be Double Dan might be my favorite movie that we covered that I hadn't seen. I don't know. It's either that or Miami Connection, really.
Yeah.
I think those are both a little bit better than Samurai Cop. Talk about My Doctor, Patient's Revenge, continuing the madness of that series. Can't wait to cover the next one.
We absolutely have to get Lifetime. It's Lifetime, right?
I think it's Lifetime, yeah.
Yeah, that to make a Christmas movie. Talk about My Doctor.
It makes so much sense. It's
got to be our 2022 goal. One of them.
Yeah.
Savage Beach was a pretty good episode too.
Savage Beach was pretty good. That was a short one too, because there's like zero plot.
Yeah, that was less than an hour, 58 minutes.
Yeah. The good old 57-minute episode. Rarefied air for that. But yeah, I think that's we're proud of where we're at. I think there are bigger podcasts around, but we're happy with our little engine that could. I think. The only other thing I wanted to talk about is just because we never really get to talk about movies. Well, at the top of the show we always talk about movies we had seen, but we never really get to go super in depth. So, we have a few minutes. I just wanted to ask you guys, like, movies of 2021. What's your favorites? What did you like? What did you didn't dislike? So did you, Mark, again?
Did you say Mark?
Oh,
Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Repeat that again. I thought you were sending that to Dan. I'm sorry.
Then we'll just go to Dan. Dan, everything I just said.
Yeah. I surprisingly saw a decent amount of movies this year. I was surprised. I was adding to a list on Letterboxd, and I saw about 20 movies this year. For the most part, I enjoyed the majority of them. One of my favorites is obviously we talked about Spider-Man: No Way Home. But there were a couple of movies that came out of left field that I really liked, like The Mitchells versus the Machines. That was a Netflix movie, solid movie. I really liked that. The Last Duel, I liked that. I saw that in theaters. Came out of nowhere. I heard nothing about it. Very little marketing for that movie, and I think it was an underrated movie. I enjoyed it. I saw some real stinkers, obviously. Mortal Kombat, the new Mortal Kombat came out this year. Very disappointing. Free Guy, not a fan of Free Guy. I know a lot of people enjoyed that movie. And
Yeah, that was a surprising one. I've heard a lot of people that I respect their taste in movies say they liked it.
yeah, I
I was
don't know. I don't
confused.
see what
Yeah.
they saw. I guess it's not refreshing in any way. It's again, it's Ryan Reynolds. Just
I was going to say, is it just that we have a distaste for Ryan Reynolds and maybe a lot of people don't?
maybe, but I think even Ryan Reynolds has a distaste for Ryan Reynolds at this point. He's like, yeah, I got to take a break, and I'm sure he's acting a lot, but it's always the same character. We've gone into it before in prior episodes. There Will Be Carnage, another stinker. But like something that I wasn't expecting, Pig with Nicolas Cage, I enjoyed. I know a lot of people were shitting on the Eternals. I liked the Eternals. I thought that was pretty good. What else? The Suicide Squad might be. It's definitely top 5 for me this year in 2021. I really enjoyed the Suicide Squad. Might be. It's definitely one of the better DCEU movies. I'd say it's a top 3 DCEU movie. And then I have my guilty pleasure, Godzilla versus Kong. Those 2 characters are my all-time favorite characters in cinema for the most part. I mean, King Kong was the reason I got into movies. So yeah, I think for the most part I enjoyed most of what I watched. And it's kind of, I feel like it's so cliched to say like Spider-Man No Way Home is my favorite because it again recency bias, but I loved that movie. I thought that was really good. But yeah, I like that. Last Duel. I would say those are probably my favorites, along with Godzilla versus Kong. So yeah, I'd say that's my top 3.
Okay. What about you, Mark, this time?
Yeah.
Take 2.
Take 2. Got it. Let's do it. Well, I didn't see as many movies as you guys did this year, but my favorite from a personal standpoint is I really liked Last Night in Soho a lot. Went and saw that in theaters. Came away very impressed. Third act notwithstanding in that movie. I think the best overall movie I saw was Spider-Man No Way Home, obviously. I saw a couple other movies late in the year, which I don't want to spoil too much on this episode, that were decent and solid, and one was probably a lot better than it should have been. But yeah, I want to. One of my things is I want to try and go to the movies a little more next year, just because there is an AMC that's right next to my gym that I go to, so I can make a day out of it on like a Saturday or something to go see something. So, and I was slightly embarrassed most of the time when you would come to me and be like, "Oh, I didn't see anything," because I don't do when I'm home. It's I'm mostly in video game focus or or doing D&D stuff. So it's not much. I don't sit around and do the streaming movies as much. So I think my goal is to try to get to the movies more because that'll get me to see stuff. But yeah, I was pleasant. Everything I went to see this year, I was not disappointed in going in. And I think that's a positive when you go and spend upwards of $15 to $20 to see a movie.
Sure.
Yeah.
As for me, I think my favorite movie of the year in terms of actual movies, like 100% this is a feature film, is Candyman, the new Candyman. I really liked it. Horror always gets a boost for me in general, but unless it's called Halloween Kills, which I thought sucked.
Yeah,
but
that was a disappointing movie.
The Fear Street trilogy was a nice little surprise this year. It's not one of my favorites, but Last Night in Soho I enjoyed for the most part. Still, the most interesting thing I watched this year was Bo Burnham's Inside. It's just a very fascinating piece of media. I don't know if I could call it a movie because it's part stand-up, I guess, special, part documentary, part I don't know. It's a whole lot of things combined to create this thing.
Yeah.
I didn't really know much about Bo Burnham himself, other than I know he directed 8th Grade a couple of years ago, but it's just a really fascinating work that he did. It's very experimental. And yeah, it just wound up being the most fascinating thing that I watched this year. But Candyman, if we have to pick an actual movie, that's my favorite movie of the year. I think that they did so well of taking the lore that's already been set forth in previous movies and bringing it into a topical modern day. That's so I think they did a great job with that. And maybe even go back and watch the original Candyman, which I hadn't seen in quite some time. So that was my favorite movie of the year.
Yeah, and to add a couple things I was thinking of while sitting here, I will say 2021. I thank Anthony for introducing us to I Think We Should Leave.
Oh yes.
It has made my 2021 much better, and I love it when we can confuse a friend on a group chat by the three of us just going back and forth with memes and gifs from that show. And just I had forgotten all about this that this was 2021, but I saw a documentary for the first time in a while, a documentary that the entire time I was watching it, I was angry about the subject matter. And I had watched the documentary on the sex abuse scandal with the U.S. gymnastics, and just every athlete A is what it's called, and every aspect of it, it just kept getting more and more like how nothing was being done and all this awful gross shit was going on, and people were just sort of ignoring it to win gold medals. And it was one of those things that made me so mad that it probably took my enjoyment out of the Olympic Games a little bit more than I usually have. That's how well done and powerful that documentary is. So if you have any interest in good documentaries or any passing knowledge of that, I would highly recommend it for anyone out there.
Okay. Those were the things on my agenda this episode. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to kind of touch upon before we say goodnight?
Well, I know we were discussing a little change to possibly the name.
Oh, thank you. I forgot all about that. Yes. So if you're listening to this, we're going to enter the new year and we're going to change a few things. This show is not going to change. It's just going to how you can find us is going to change. So at the top of the show, always go through kind of our socials and stuff like that, and you could always find us at the Main Damie on our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at the Main Damie, and themaindamie.com is our main website. All that kind of good stuff that we always say at the top and bottom of every show. I think we're going to probably put an end to the maindamie.com. It's just it was a blog that we were writing for about 7 years. I think 2022 would be 8 years. Actually, no, 9. It'd be 9 years. Started in 2013, and we had a great time doing it. And I know you guys supplied some articles and stuff, but with this podcast kind of becoming our bigger priority, we kind of fell by the wayside. And even 31 Days of Horror, I struggled to get 3 articles up this year. So keeping it up and is just kind of fracturing all of our kind of names for all our socials. So it just kind of makes sense to kind of, set the Main Damie out on an ice flow and put it to rest so we could kind of consolidate the names. So we'll probably announce this on Twitter. But we'll probably be changing the Twitter handle to something like TCTAM Pod, or they call this a movie. We haven't decided yet, but it'll probably be something short and sweet, so you can find us there. Same thing with Instagram, and I don't even know if I'm going to bother with Facebook. But that'll be, and we'll probably have a new website coming in the first quarter of next year, where you can find us directly. So be on the lookout for that. We'll post all that on all our socials, but it'll probably be like theycallthisamovie.com. Probably should do that before you guys hear this episode, but we'll figure it out. It's no big deal. But yeah, so no changes really to this show, just how you can find us on the various socials that we frequent. Right. Thank you, Dan, for reminding.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that, I think, is it. I wanted to give a shout out to a few people. Dave Katusa, he does the music that you hear at the top and bottom of every show. We have a revolving door of promos that we play every show, thanks to Hop Nation USA, the best little horror house in Philly, From Afar podcast, Ocho Duro Parlay Hour. Damn, that's a hard name. ODPH. Thanks everybody for your promos and for shouting us out, and everybody at Geek Vibes Nation for helping us out too. Anybody else that we should thank? My wife, I don't know, because she's not here. She refuses to listen to the show. But thank you for letting me talk in this office here. Anybody you guys want to thank?
Yeah, again, just our guests that we had on, a lot of fun. And like you said, thank you, Geek Vibes Nation, Tia and Brittany for giving us shout outs on their programs. Thank you guys.
And thanks to the listeners.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks for listening
around the world.
Yeah,
I know it's funny because, like you said, we're really more of a little engine that could podcast, but we look at the demographics and stuff like that, and we do have listeners from not just in the United States, so it's really cool that we can say that we have multiple listeners from around the world, and it's fun. And again, thank you guys for doing this, picking the movies that I hate. Makes it a lot of fun for the podcast. And as much as I hate the movies, I always look forward to doing this podcast every Tuesday, like pretty much right on schedule. It's either Tuesday or Wednesday that we do it, but I really look forward to it. It's a nice break in the week of the monotony, and I hope we can do this for a long, long time.
Yeah, and shout out to our fan in the Isle of Man.
There you go.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a true homie.
He's an OG T-Tam.
All right, yeah, that's gonna wrap it up this week. Just once again, thank you for listening. We hope that you enjoy what we're putting out there. If you can, Spotify now allows you to rate and review shows. I don't know if they allow you to review, but they definitely allow you to rate your shows. If you're listening to on Spotify, just click that 5-star button. That'd really help us out. It's the biggest platform basically in the world, and the more 5-star reviews we get on there, the more it gets noticed. So, if you want, I said we're changing it, but as of the time being on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, we're still the main Damie. We're on where they call this movie is the TikTok, so you can find us there. We'll probably we might even have a new email address or something like that. So find us where you can, when you can, and we'll keep you updated for any changes to those. So that's going to wrap us up this week. So for Dan Aquino and Mark Myers, this is Anthony DeVecchio telling you have a happy new year, stay safe, and we'll see you in 2022.